team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Hey, why y'all ain't tell me that my chair be making this little squeaking noise? I know y'all was hearing that in some of these videos, and y'all was just letting me just go ahead and just keep doing the reaction videos without anybody saying something to me about this chair. But I'm kind of in between. Should I just throw some WD-40 on here, or should I go get me a gaming chair? If you got a gaming chair out there, let me know which one you got and which one you would suggest. But let's get into this video. I know that had nothing to do with Pistol Pete, but how NBA legends on how insanely good Pistol Pete Maravich was. He was a dog, man. He was before his time. I hear that a lot about Pistol Pete. He was way before his time. If he would have been in the NBA right now, he would really be able to really showcase, who he was and how he played. But back then it was more or less, he just sounded kind of just like this flashy player that really couldn't win the way he was supposed to. But before we get into this video, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I need y'all to subscribe, like, and comment so I can break through them algorithms, and that way I can afford me a really good chair. So let's get into this video. We got NBA legends on how insanely good Pistol Pete Maravich was. Let's get it. Pistol. You gotta be dope for your nickname to be Pistol. Pistol Pete, that's hard. What was the dude from Toy Story name?
This is Sean Kemp.
Was it Stinking Pete? What was his name?
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Bars. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the basketball.
I can never not see dude trying to kiss Shaq right there either.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to
What up, Sean David?
I'm your host, Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school.
What up, Big Sean?
In today's episode, I want to take a look at NBA legends giving their opinion about one of the most influential players in NBA history. I'm of course talking about the great Pete Maravich, aka Pistol Pete. But before we dive into today's episode, I want to ask you guys for a small favor. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy the content. Alright, enough said. Now let's dive into today's episode.
I asked this is my last Pistol Pete video, but there's gonna be some people that watched this video that didn't watch that one. So let me know right now, if you had to choose, who you picking between Pistol Pete or Jerry West? Let me know in the comments.
Now the first player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from a player who was very influential, especially with his ball handling skills in the 1980s, Isiah Thomas. Let's have a look.
I would like to put Pistol Pete at 2, because for me, he was the first, no offense, Brent, he was the first white guy with style and flair that I've seen. So
why would I take offense to that?
Because you're a white guy. The first white guy to have the flash and style and between the legs and behind the back. I mean, because my favorite move was the move he did to Jerry West.
Pete Maravich, he would take the basketball, right? And he would fake the pass. He would bounce it here, bounce it behind him, fake the pass, and you as a defender would jump, and he'd turn back around, catch the ball, and shoot.
No! Where are some highlights of that?
And I was like, okay, I got to try that.
Where'd you see that, Isiah?
The Steve Coulter stole it.
But the master of improvisation was the man known as the Pistol, Pete Maravich, who was turning the court into his own personal stage.
Pistol was like a guy, the game was boring to him, so he had to create things that keep him interested.
Pete just has so much razzle-dazzle in his
Hey!
dog.
Tiny Archibald right there, that guy that was just talking. I had the opportunity to play him in Winning Time. If you've been tapped into my channel, I know you're probably tired of me saying that, but every single time I post a video, there's somebody watching me for the first time, so I have to let them know. I gotta get them, I gotta get them up to date with the channel, man. So if you hear me saying that all the time, just don't mind it. Just just skate past it. But yeah, that's who I played in Winning Time. It was super dope, and season 2 is on the way. Ooh.
The way he handled the basketball so flippantly and so sort of carelessly really offended a lot
Rich
of
Kelly. Who is Rich Kelly?
What Pistol would do, he would take the ball and set it behind his back.
You explaining that story again?
And shoot. That was sweet.
That was sweet.
He was a true entertainer, and I think he looked at entertainment more than basketball.
He used his basketball as a form of self-expression, and one of the real leaders in bringing basketball into this sort of area of artistry.
Yes.
It was like his form of art.
Now the next clips that we're going to take a look at are from Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and some other legends, and I was very happy to find those clips because you don't find too many videos from Magic and Larry talking about other players. Now let's have a look.
Boy, could he play basketball and could he entertain you. You know, the no-look passes, the dribble the ball, then pat it with one hand. That's where I saw all that from Pistol Pete. That's where I got it from.
Ooh.
It was like the ball.
Y'all hear Magic? Magic said that he has influence from Pistol Pete. So we have to put respect on Pistol Pete's name, man, because we can't just praise Magic Johnson so much and not talk about the people that influenced his game.
Ball was an extension of him. He could shoot it from deep. He could take it in. He could wrap it around. I mean, he was doing stuff that you never saw. You know, and you never see a white boy doing that on top of that. This is a white boy I'm talking about. This ain't a brother, but he must have had some brother in him.
Must have had some brother in him.
My head is in a bad place.
I always said, man, that ball looks like a part of his hand. And I said, he must spend a lot of time dribbling and able to shoot the way he can shoot.
I don't think that the people, the fans now know how really great Pistol Pete was. He was probably my most difficult opponent as far as one-on-one. I saw Earl, the Pearl. I played against Clyde, and I thought those guys gave me problems. Pistol was unique with his ball handling and dribbling and stuff like that. He could just trick guys, and he gave me probably the most difficult time guarding. He wasn't as physical as a Clyde or Earl, but Pete just has so much razzle-dazzle in his game. He was just hard to guard.
Shout out to Jerry West, what was Pistol Pete's last season? Or not even his last season, because I think I heard that he didn't really end his career the way he was supposed to. I think he had heart problems or something, but what was his last prime season where he was at his best? What year was that? Because I'm trying to kind of figure out where was he at in NBA history? Where was he as far as, when Kareem came in the league or when Magic and Bird came in the league?
A showman. Played the game with a tremendous flair.
I mean, look at Jason Williams. What do you think of Pistol Pete?
Pete was a globetrotter. Pete practiced his stuff, day in and day out. And it was honed in. And he had a fire about him.
Looking at some of these little guys here, they probably never saw Pistol Pete play. I hope they look on YouTube. Tell them who Pistol Pete was.
Woo! In college, Pistol and I fought for the scoring leader in the country. And all 3 years I was second to Pistol. And I used to make excuses. The only reason Pistol scored more than me is because his dad coached him and so on and so forth. Until I got to play against him. And that was a lot of fun.
Humbled you real quick.
He was, goodness gracious. It's hard to describe somebody that was about 6'6", 6'7", handle the ball as well or better than myself. He just didn't shoot the basketball. He was a pure shooter. Yeah. He would pass the ball through the eye of a needle. I got a chance to play with him for the first time in the high school All-American game in Memphis. And it's tough. You're trying to play your game and you're watching him. Yeah. You're in the backcourt with him. We were starting guards for the All-American team. And I got to be great friends with him from that point on.
I can remember.
Who was that was just talking right there? I don't think I know who that is, but they said Pistol Pete averaged 40 in college for all 3 years. All 3. Just imagine, that's a lot of points. Imagine just not scoring 40, averaging 40. Like, he averaged 40 for 3 straight years. Like, that lets you know right there that he was a crazy scorer. But I've been seeing a lot of passing in this video too. I think a lot of people in my other videos were saying that Pistol Pete kind of was a ball hog, but I don't really get that from Pistol Pete. Like, I get it, he was just a great scorer and a really good passer as well.
When Pete got traded from Atlanta, where he started his career, over to New Orleans, when the team went down there in his expansion team, and they had never won a game. They were 0-14, and they were the worst team in the league, and Otto Moore was the center. They couldn't do anything, but Pete was just lighting them up. And the Portland Trailblazers, we go in there, we had a team, and it was not the championship team, but we had a good enough team. And we were pounding them early, way up at halftime, and Pete in the second half just takes over. And he goes absolutely wild. He's playing 1 against 5, and he's up and down the court, shooting jumpers, hooks, full court behind the back passes through guys' legs. He's just everything. And at the very last play of the game, we're up 1, and Pete dribbles up. 4 of our guys go chase him because they know he's not going to pass it, and he's falling out of bounds, and he shoots it as he's tumbling over the row of fans in the corner.
Literally.
And I am standing underneath the basket waiting for the last rebound of the game. We're going to win the game, and they're not going to win a game ever, the New Orleans Jazz, and the ball swishes perfectly through them. He's unbelievable.
We're a highlights.
He reminds me a lot, if you can compare him to anybody, to Steve Nash today, although Pete was much bigger. Pete was 6'5", and much more athletic in terms of the jumping ability until he tore his knee up. I mean, that really changed everything for Pete. Amazing about Pete, 44 points per game, career, for 3 straight years in an era with no three-point line. Dale Brown, who coached at LSU after Press and Pete were there, Dale Brown went back and charted all the games with the running score, Maravich free throw, Maravich 22-foot jumper, Maravich layup, and he calculated that with the current college three-point rule at 19.9, Pete Maravich would have averaged 13 three-point makes per game, which would have given him a career average of 57 points per game under today's rules. That guy is unbelievable. We love him. We missed him terribly. What a great friend. What a great friend.
The time has come for Honor Roll to unveil the greatest player
in today's game, because basically they're saying he was just shooting a whole bunch of long shots that was counted as twos. They said if that was in today's game, he would have averaged 57 points. That's great. 57 points. Like, let's not just skate past that. Like, that's a lot of points, man. Like, if you just checking the scoreboard or the box scores, and you see a guy averaging 57 points, you would consider him as probably one of the best scorers of all time. So, is that something that we need to start talking about Pistol Pete more? Was he, arguably one of the greatest scorers of all time?
All time. Pistol Pete Maravich of LSU. Sporting floppy socks and a flashy style, Maravich averaged over 44 points per game. But more impressively, he created a hoops frenzy at a school long known only for football.
I think one of the toughest sells in America was to sell basketball in Louisiana.
It wasn't until Pete showed up on campus and started playing that word spread like wildfire that here was a bona fide superstar.
As soon as he touched the ball, people went to the edge of their seat. He was scared to take your eye off of him because something might happen.
It was as if you had melted down all 12 Harlem Globetrotters and then filled up this skinny 6'6" white frame with everything they had.
It looked like Ichabod Crane out there with a mop on his head or something. He didn't wear those gray floppy socks by accident. He knew that people would see him. He knew that he was selling the game.
I loved him at LSU. Socks flopping. He had flavor. I'm like, wait a minute, where this guy grew up?
Spike Lee.
That's something.
You were never quite sure what he was going to do with the ball in the open court because he had 1,000 moves to either shoot it or pass it.
Number 23, Pete Maravich.
So how good was Pistol Pete, in my opinion? Well, as I said earlier in the video, to me he was one of the most influential players in NBA history. If you think about players like Magic Johnson, Jason Williams, aka White Chocolate, Steve Nash and those guys, they had a lot of Pete Maravich in their game. And we gotta give credit where credit is due. And he was not only a great scorer, but he also had great court vision. So all in all, he was a very, very good basketball player. The only thing that he was not so good at was defense, but that's a different story. Anyway, that was it for today's episode, you guys. Don't forget to leave a like.
Great video again by Basketball Time Machine. Shout out to my guy Sean David. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from that is Pistol Pete is an athletic and bigger Steve Nash. Like, just think about that. The things Steve Nash used to do, like, was amazing. Like, kind of looking back on Steve Nash now, I feel like I appreciate him way more now because I don't see people doing what he was doing. But just imagine somebody being like that, being 4 inches taller, 3 inches taller, bigger, more athletic. Like, that's a crazy player. But I appreciate y'all for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Go ahead and like this video if you liked it. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know where Pistol Pete ranks all time. I don't think there's too many people ranking him like top 3, top 5 all time just because he really wasn't winning. But as far as talent-wise, he has to be up there, man. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.